Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. It's nice to see you. I want to welcome several groups of people here to Flagler Memorial Chapel before I share with you a little bit about the state of the school. The first is to the distinguished and wonderful class of 2020, who is here, who've come back just to remind some of you in the group, they had to graduate over Zoom. And in March of their sixth form year, the world was struck with COVID. And they went home and we were unable to have a graduation. I hope today that you'll be able to walk down the bricks and see where your names are all etched in the bricks if you haven't already. So if you're in the class of 2020, stand up, because we want to just say welcome back. You're most welcome. The good students and you. Okay, thank you. I want a personal thank you for the members of the class of 2000 who've come back for their 25th reunion. I went to school with you. I know you. You know me. I can't wait to share more stories tonight. I just want to say from the depths of my heart, actually, that you were, and Drew sitting right there, a pivotal class in this school's history, filled with both triumph and tragedy. And we love that you're back here. So class of 2000, thank you so much. If any of the members of the class of 1975 are still here with us from the weekend, we've had a wonderful weekend together starting Thursday night. All I can say is that you're legends, and thanks for not scaring the girls away. We'll talk about Joe Donahue another time. There are members, I think 4 members from the class of 1960, and then there are a few members from the alumni body who are before 1960. Peter Miller and Julian Strauss, I know you're there. If you're 1960 or before, will you please stand up? Thank you for being back here. And a special shout out to some just Millbrook faculty. Sorry, EJ. I'm just going to say thank you for being in the chapel. She told me not to say anything. I continue not to listen to one of my favorite human beings from Millbrook School. But Harold Chang, Shane Tilston, Paul and Maureen Stellato, Eileen Jeffries, John and Betty Siegenthaler, Bill Hardy. Craig, were you on our faculty at some point? Craig Pecchia, you'll be someday. Who am I missing who's taught at Millbrook and has returned? Did I miss anybody? Okay, would you please stand up? Please, Paul Maroon. The Siegenthalers are down here. So I just want to say welcome, everyone. Thank you for every effort you've made to come back down School Road. Special shout out, as I said last night, to those spouses and significant others who have had the bravery and courage to come with your loved one down School Road and spend some time with us. You really must love someone to tag along to a reunion. I'm John Downs. I'm class of 1998. I'm honored and privileged to be a Millbrook 7th head of school. And in every way, shape, and form that we can measure, our state of the school has never been stronger. We have one goal for our alumni body when you return, and it's to realize this feeling. This place is just the same, only better. So I want to share the state of the school through the work of our senior leadership team, which we call TAC, our Trustees Administrative Committee. Meg Grover, who I think is actually here in the back. Meg Grover is in her 11th year at Millbrook School, director of our admissions, and she has 2 sons now. So I know the class of 2020 would be interested to know, one of whom is on Meg's lap. We opened this year with 335 students, 282 boarders, 32 day students, and 21 faculty and staff children. About 30% of our students received some form of financial aid. 20% of our domestic students identify with a race other than white. 12% of our student body is international. 10% is day. And our admissions numbers have never been better. We have roughly 750 applications this year, 240 acceptances, and 110 new students joining Millbrook next year. Shannon Vollmer has been in education for 23 years, and she just finished her 7th year at Millbrook. She's our Director of College Counseling. She has fully revamped the college counseling process and the arc of what she would call the curriculum of college counseling, which begins really in the 3rd form. When you begin here, it starts. She's deepened relationships with key schools to which we send many of our graduates, and she has a very informed and authoritative approach to guiding families and children through the process. As a reminder, we prepare, we do not place. The promise of our mission is to prepare. I want to share some statistics, mainly for the members of 1975 and 2000. So, in 1975, Yale's admissions rate, their selective rate, was 33%. In 2000, it was 20%. This is for you, Sid. 20%. In 2025, 4%. Wash U in 1975, 72% of applicants got in. 2000, 56%. This year, 13%. Northeastern, I love this one. 1975, 92% of applicants got into Northeastern. You have a pulse, you're in. In 2000, 76%. This year, 6%. It's a competitive landscape, to say the least. Just to give you a sense of where our kids are going to schools, here's where Millbrook students currently matriculate, which I like to call highly rejective schools. Colgate, Columbia, UChicago, Vanderbilt, Rice, Tufts, Hamilton, Dartmouth, Bowdoin, Cornell, Emory, WashU, Washington and Lee, Northwestern, Boston College, RISD, University of Virginia, Wake Forest, Duke, Trinity, Amherst, Williams, Middlebury, Michigan, USC, UCLA, Claremont McKenna, Elon, and a whole lot at SLU, at TCU, and SMU. They're hot. SMU and TCU, it's a good group down there. Jasper Turner is our Dean of Faculty. He's been in education for 23 years. He just finished his 5th year here. His whole job is to recruit and retain and rejuvenate the very best so that our faculty is as strong as it possibly can be. Mr. Poland used to say, great teaching is the imparting of knowledge, skills, and passion through the force of personality, and we certainly have people on our faculty who do all of that. We have our largest professional development budget ever. We spend about $200,000 a year on faculty development. We have a robust growth and renewal program. For those of you in the for-profit world, that's what we call evaluations. We have really competitive, as we benchmark with peer schools, compensation and benefits for our faculty and staff. And our biggest group here right now is kind of mid-career, right around my age, mid-40s, raising a family, and in the middle of their careers. Right, as I read to you, we have 21 children of faculty and staff in school, and this stat you'll like, 45 children under the age of 14 who are on this campus. There are a lot of children in this faculty and staff. There are a lot of dogs too, but I won't give you the statistics. Just to put some things in perspective for some of you in the room, Anthony Soriento, Vinny and Caitlin's oldest, is graduated and he's going to Ithaca next year. Will Vollmer, Mrs. Vollmer's son, will join us in the third form this year, as will Will Turner, Mr. Turner's son. And Atticus Downs and Cody Allen will apply to Millbrook next year. So just to give you a little perspective. Cody deserves that applause, Atticus does not. We'll talk about that. Jarrett Clark is our assistant head of academics. She's been in schools for over 25 years, 18 now here, and Jarrett and Lindsay have 2 sons. Curriculum, as I like to say, is all that we do with intention, and she oversees all of it. And so I want to read to you some of the Blaine essays, some of the independent science research, and some of the culminating experience for seniors that we had this year. Blaine essay finalists: Baddies or Wifeys, Disidentifying Femininity and the Cost to Feminist Unity. The Rise of Influencer Marketing, Reintroducing Competition. Climate Refugees, Expanding Global Responsibility in the Era of Environmental Displacement. Culture and Kinship in Economics. The Multifaceted Roots of Religion Extremism, Social, Political, and Psychological Drivers of Scriptural Misinterpretation, and the Etiology of Attractive Faces in the Mate Selection Process. Those were the 6 Blaine essay finalists. They're asking big questions and doing really serious work. In independent science research this year, assessment of microplastics abundance in animal fecal samples from the Trevor Zoo. Microabundance in relation to human disturbance in Millbrook School's marsh. The relationship between heart rate variability measurements and corticosterone in adolescence at Millbrook School. The effect of breeding season separation on animals in captivity, and specifically in Canis rufus stress levels, that is, red wolves. Culminating experiences for seniors, which is our capstone project. Here are some of the hits this year. Student did March Madness, a student-run basketball tournament at Millbrook. Falconry, how to train a hawk. A renovation of bluebird boxes. And learning a new language with Duolingo. So that's some of the academic work that's happening now. Our arts department, which has been for a while our largest department, every teacher is an active artist. It's central to our core of expression. And if you walk through Holbrook or Callard or the business office or polling house or the counseling centers, you'll see that we have really high quality student work all over this campus. Our theater productions generally are between 50 and 80 students. This year we had a hit in the fall with Mousetrap, if you know it, Agatha Christie, and then we did Matilda as a musical in the winter. Athletics, we have teams that are competitive in every season, and just for a little arc of the athletic journey at Millbrook, when Drew took over the school in 1990, we were a member of the Hudson Valley Athletic League, with a variety of schools that we do not play today. Last year, we were invited into the Mid-Atlantic Prep League, which includes Episcopal and Lawrenceville and Blair and Petty, and we turned it down because it just doesn't work geographically. But we're competitive in everything. Our girls lacrosse team won the Western New England's girls softball team lost in the Western New England finals. We have girls who have played in the last 3 or 4 years basketball at Georgia, Coppin State, Washington and Lee, Fairfield, Babson. We've had baseball players at USC, Maryland, Tulane, Indiana, Holy Cross. We've had soccer players at Stanford, Duke, Holy Cross, basketball players at Tufts, Hamilton, Fairfield, ice hockey at Bowdoin, Yukon, Merrimack, Colgate. We now, for many of you, we have volleyball at Millbrook School, and we have 8-player football at Millbrook School. This year, 20 members of our sixth form class who graduated 94, 20 will be college athletes, and 26 in this year's class were 4-year letter winners. So athletics are strong, and I have to put this brag in. We have a 9th grader this year. Any of you know running, which is a sport I love? She broke the knapsack record of all time. She ran a 2:10.800. So that's a pace for a 4:20 mile. And she's 14. She's something serious. And if you look up on the record books in college, she'd be in the top 20 of most colleges and universities right now. And guess what? We don't have a track. So, Anna Birnbaum is our Dean of Students. Many of you know Anna, formerly of Admissions and Math. It's her 12th year of education, 8th year here, though she had a little stint in the middle. Really, her approach is discipline through old school accountability and a lens of teachable moments. She is loved, she is respected, and you know what? You can't take the jersey out of the girl. She is feared. Most of the things that we see here are pretty garden variety of teenage rebellion or maybe even stupidity at times. And platforms change. AI comes into play, cell phones come into play. As you know, the world's making it easier and easier for kids to misbehave without being caught. And so we definitely deal with our fair share of that and continue to be a place where we want our students to grow through the mistakes that they may or may not make. Patrice King, I don't think is in here. She's our Dean of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. She's an Abbott dorm parent, admissions associate, and she's been here for 1 year. She supports our programming around inclusivity and engagement, and she's really active with connecting our current students of color with our alumni of color. We are more diverse in demographic makeup than ever before, internationally, racially, religiously. I wish Paul Solomon were here. He's class of 1961. When he was here, he was the only Jewish student here. I had 54 students at Shabbat dinner 3 or 4 times at my house this year. It's a really different makeup. We have almost every major world religion represented on campus. And internationally, we continue to have students from 15, 16, 17 countries. Actually, I was just talking with a parent yesterday about, I said, what is your daughter doing? And she's a rising third former. She's going to Barcelona with a friend. And I was like, that's the best part about boarding school, right? That we have the circumference of the world and we're not limited to the radius of a neighborhood. Alan Toussignon continues to be our director of the Trevor Lovejoy Zoo. He's now 36 years at Millbrook. He had a 7-year stop in Austin, Texas when he was working on his PhD. Saw us through a great AZA accreditation. It feels like there's one every year. The zoo, for the class of 2020, as you left over Zoom, the zoo was a real COVID outlet for the greater Dutchess County community. We kept it open. And we now have over 40,000 visitors a year at the Trevor Lovejoy Zoo. We have a master plan, and we have sort of built a strategic planning committee at the board level to really look hard at what will the Trevor Lovejoy Zoo be in 30 years. So it's exciting times there. Jeff Smith is our COO, CFO, and in-house counsel. He's worked 21 years with children, 11 of them here. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife of a human being. He's a musician, he's a teacher, he was a dean of students, he was an academic dean, he's our lawyer and our CFO. Our books, as we look at our balance sheets, are extremely healthy. S&P gave us an A credit rating, which enabled some refinancing of our debt a few years ago at a very, very favorable interest rate. Admissions numbers are great, alumni giving is great, and our endowment is roughly $75 million at the last quarter mark. So there, though, I would say compared to our competitors, we're still woefully behind. Jeff also oversees as COO some of our plant. So many of you have said this looks wonderful, and if you see anyone on our maintenance staff, please tell them thank you. They work really hard to keep this place groomed to perfection for us. And you've seen some of the exciting projects over the years. A brand new polling house, which I have the fortune and privilege of living in. Anthony House, which is our alumni development house right next door in between the dining hall, Casertano Hall, and Polling House. You saw some new faculty housing on School Road, I'm sure, as you drove in. We have 6 new units there. In the future, a dormitory should be built in about 12 to 14 months right here. So we're going to move Shilkret House behind Burton, and there will be a dormitory for boys, 4 faculty homes, 40 to 42 beds, and it's going to look like it's always been there and always should have been there. We're talking with a small committee of people about how to make the chapel more hospitable. We love this space, and I know for each and every one of you, you don't have to tell me. Some of your greatest Millbrook memories are in this room. Some of your saddest, some of your happiest, but great memories. And with a student body of 330 and a faculty full and part-time of roughly 90, it's tight in here. I mean, faculty spill out onto the steps. So we're talking with architects about either how to use this current space more efficiently so that we can be more hospitable, or even maybe do a bit of an expansion. So it looks just the same, but we have a little bit of room. And then, while Mills Athletic Center was built in 1996, 1997, we've really outgrown it. It's 1 basketball court, 1 hockey rink, and actually the squash courts, where I think we're 7 now, still feel like it's not enough. And so we have plans to convert the hockey rink into a field house, put in a new hockey rink. The field house will have a basketball court and some turf, so that outdoor sports can play indoors. They're spectacular. It's a big mountain to climb, and we've got to raise a lot of money. So we'll be doing that in the next couple of years. Natalie Smith, speaking of raising money, year 2 here, 23 years in fundraising, 18 of those years in independent school. She's been involved with 5 capital campaigns totaling over $1 billion. Upper Canada College, MoMA, Toronto Film Festival, Art Gallery of Ontario, and at Salisbury School. And just a little fun fact, because Natalie's going to present in a little bit. She was a USGA fellow in museum archives in the summer of college. She's a great golfer, and she was a member of the Canadian National Soccer Program. So this year, we are very close to achieving our goal of $2.8 million of the annual fund. We've raised nearly $20 million in capital commitments, 15 of which is for our new boys' dormitory, and we're off to a great start for continuing to be the best version of ourselves. Is Caitlin Kylie in here? Caitlin Kylie? Caitlin Kylie, I actually want you to kind of come out in the middle so people can see you. Caitlin Kylie, just so they can see you, Director of Advancement Operations. I want you to know who she is. Keith Delval, please come out so they can kind of just see you from the balcony too. Director of Principal and Major Gifts, Mimi Babcock. Is Mimi here? No, Mimi's not here. Okay. Nick is here. Ugarte. Nick, right here, is Director of Alumni Engagement. Shannon Williams. Not back there? Okay, Corey, is she back there? Okay, so I want you to know these people because they are the future of Anthony House, okay? And they're doing a wonderful job. So, that's the state of the school. Thank you. You have any questions? Look at Even if it's obligatory applause, I'll take it. Any questions?
I have a curiosity question.
Sure.
As a zoo person, only just because you mentioned that you stayed open, it was quite an outlet for the community. There was, COVID was definitely a zoonotic, and it was detected in some animals in the Bronx, and this is not anything to get scared of, but I'm curious if Trevor Zoo did any testing with their animals in that time.
For COVID?
Yeah, SARS, yeah, me too.
I think we did, and I think we regularly do.
Not like it
Though I don't know that I can talk in great detail about that, just meaning I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, fair. That's a good question. I'll find out. Up top.
Yes, Mr. Downs, as your first year as headmaster, how much did you love the class of 2020?
In fairness, there's some. Okay. I love you. And I do feel a special bond, and there's some there's some misleading there. It actually wasn't my first year as the head of school. In 2019, I was the acting head, and Mr. Casertano took a sabbatical. And I didn't know at the time, he was sort of testing out what life might be like after Millbrook. And then he returned, and then I went through a process with the Board of Trustees, and I was named the next head of school, which was wonderful. And it was really wonderful because when Drew came back, all of a sudden it was March 2020. And we didn't get to see you again. And it was painful, actually, for us. And we were confused about how to lead the school and move it forward. And what was wonderful is that I got to be with Drew through that. And I think he would say, on his last year, he got to have a partner which was, about 31 years. While he had many challenges, that was a challenging year. And a tough year to go out when you're behind masks. That transition was I think helpful to me. I don't want to speak for Drew. I think helpful to him, and because I signed so many of your admissions letters, and then got to see you off and have you back today. Yes, my love for you runs so damn deep I can't even explain. Perfect. Any other questions before I move to Natalie? Okay, so what I'd like to do is invite Natalie Smith up to the podium and Emily Allen. We have 2 Millbrook medals to present today, which is really one of our highest honors at Millbrook School. And I'd like to invite Natalie Smith and Emily Allen up to the podium to present our first and then next medal. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily Allen. Natalie Smith.
And I'm Natalie Smith.
We are going to present the Community Service Award.
I had the good fortune of being asked to do this because Emily wasn't going to be here. And so Emily rode up in 2 wheels just now. And so we have the good fortune of kind of the right person should be doing this. So I'm going to help, but really the honor is Emily's. So I'll let you take the lead.
Okay. In our family, we refer to Mark Merritt as our guardian angel. For those of you who don't know, I have a medically fragile 11-year-old daughter. 2 years ago, I called 911 7 times in a 6-month period. Every time, whether at 2 a.m. or 10 p.m., the first person to arrive at my door was Mark. My daughters would see his headlights coming up the driveway and announce that Mark was here. Each time, the weight I was carrying lessened. I was told at a young age that the way you respond to a situation has a profound effect on the outcome. With each 911 call, I fought back tears and sadness as I prepared for the ambulance. However, one of the last times I called 911 that year, it was well after 10 p.m., and minutes after the call, Mark walked in the front door. At the sight of Mark, tears streamed down my cheeks. 2 days earlier, I had attended Mark's wife's Donna's funeral. Reliable, calm, and caring, he came in the front door like he had done so many times before. On Thanksgiving in 2020, Mark arrived in the middle of the holiday to fix my broken oven. Last summer, when my hot water heater exploded, Mark hurried to help, coming from the fountains where he was visiting his father. Last weekend, when my freezer wasn't working, he arrived at my house with his 9-year-old granddaughter to help. And last night, I saw him drive up my driveway to check on my generator when my power went out. And in 2015, when I arrived back to campus for my husband's funeral, Mark was one of the first people I saw. Mr. Rogers said, "Look for the helpers." My daughters and I look for Mark. Millbrook School looks to Mark. Mark, you are the helper. You are humble, selfless, and kind. In your 41 years of service to Millbrook School, you have worked tirelessly, asking for nothing in return. Your quiet confidence brings calm to chaos. You so generously provide strength, knowledge, and patience to all that you do and all those you encounter. I'm gonna finish this.
You've said everything, I think. It's not just about what Mark does, it's how he does it, with quiet confidence, with humility, with a steady hand and a kind heart. He brings a sense of peace to the chaotic, reliable to the uncertain, and dignity to every task, no matter how large or small. In a place that holds community as one of its core values, Mark embodies that spirit. As Emily said, for 41 years, he has served Millbrook with tireless dedication. His impact may not always be announced over a microphone or posted on a wall, but it's felt in every repaired door, every emergency response, every student and faculty member who has been quietly cared for when they needed it most. So, on behalf of Millbrook School, and especially the Allen family, Emily, Cody, Avery, and Tatum, we honor you today with the Community Service Award. You have served this school in the truest, most selfless way possible, not with fanfare, but with constancy. You are the very definition of what this award represents. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Cam's turn.
We're gonna do a little picture. Come in.
Thank you, Mark.
A little housekeeping before we announce this year's Millbrook Medal winner. Photos after, which we usually do on the lawn, just with the weather today. We're going to call up the classes to the front, and we'll be taking photos. So Caitlin, look for Caitlin to kind of say your class year and those celebrating milestone reunions. We can't wait to get a photo up here with your banner, as is tradition. So good afternoon. It's hard to put into words what it means to celebrate someone whose presence has become so interwoven with the soul of Millbrook School. But today, we try, because Reverend Cam Hardy is the very embodiment of Millbrook's values, and it is our great privilege to honor her with this year's Millbrook Medal. For the last 35 years, Cam has quietly and powerfully shaped the lives of our students, faculty, and families. She has offered her wisdom, not from a podium, but within everyday moments, listening deeply, guiding gently, and reminding us all that service is not a task, but a way of life. Cam has been many things to Millbrook: a teacher, a dorm parent, a counselor, a spiritual leader, a builder of community. But more than any title, she has been our conscience and our compass. She has helped us connect not only to one another, but to something greater, a sense of purpose, responsibility, and grace. Whether lending a quiet reflection in the chapel, organizing efforts to serve those in need, or helping a student navigate a crossroads with compassion, Cam brought a stillness, a kindness, and a depth of understanding that made people feel safe. Known for her humility and steadiness, she never sought the spotlight, and yet, here we are today because her light could never go unnoticed. Cam, your impact at Millbrook is not measured in programs launched or roles fulfilled, although there have been many. It is measured in the generations of students who carry your lessons forward in how they think, how they act, and how they care. You have given Millbrook not just your time, but your heart, and in return, we offer our deepest gratitude. The Millbrook Medal is reserved for those whose contributions leave an indelible mark. You have done just that, with elegance, with strength, and always with love. Thank you for showing us what it means to live, not for oneself, but for all. Congratulations, Cam. Preacher's got to preach.
I was a little prepared. Thankfully. Oh my. So, thank you. Thank you. Ah, my goodness. I wasn't going to do this. I cannot receive this alone. Otherwise, I'd be an imposter. So I must call up my husband and life partner, Bill Hardy. Better known to the class of 2020 as Bill Party Hardy. We are a package deal. I could not have followed my path and raised our amazing family without his partnership. And I cannot accept this honor solely for us. I accept this medal on behalf of this entire community. This is for all of us. My work and my life in service to Millbrook School has been a perpetual act of love, agape. Sometimes translated as charity, but that doesn't get it right. Agape is Greek for transcendent, unconditional love. And at the core of this love is a relationship of mutuality. And the heartbeat of this community year after year after year, the constant, what makes Millbrook beautiful and special is relationships of love. In a few moments, I will read the roll call of those of our extended Millbrook family who have died over the past 18 months. I have a very special relationship with 3 on the list, so I will use them to illustrate my point. Al Hubbard, class of 1957, our cousin, my sister's here, whose stories of life here include his awe of and friendship with Tom Lovejoy, even though Tom was 2 years his junior. His experience creating the Howard telescope. And his indebtedness to Mr. Pulling, who in Al's words transformed him from a lost boy to a man with purpose. David Greenwood, parent to Wixon and Calder, classes of 96 and 97, colleague and fellow artist to Bill, dear, dear friend of our family, through his passionate storytelling and deployment of teaching inside and outside of the classroom, he transformed the lives of everyone he taught. And Nancy Keller Coffey, lifelong educator, advocate, counselor, colleague, and for me and my family and with her family, beloved, beloved friend. I ask myself, where would I and my family be without these constant relationships? Without the constant of Mark and Donna Merritt quietly coming to the rescue at every turn and taking care of our children while we did our work? Where would I be without the abiding friendship and mutual mentoring of folks in the room who mentored in the room who mentored you and who were here as students from 1983 onward? Where would I be without the constant of Drew Casertano's trust in me, his encouragement, which he offered to countless others while transforming us? Where would I be without his successor's passionate and dynamic leadership, while still being the same goofy John Downs, who my husband coached in baseball, who showed up in assembly as the president dressed like a Ghostbuster, and who I encouraged to give a chapel talk his sixth form year? Where would we be without these constants, these relationships built layer upon layer, experience upon experience, bound by our greatest moments of joy and our deepest, deepest sorrows? These relationships of mutual love which transform. This is how we have maintained our uniqueness, our strength, and our inevitability, how we will always be Millbrook. So I thank you for this relationship, and this medal is for all of us. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Reverend Cam Hardy. Can we go to the pulpit or just remember?
I don't know, what do you think? Should I go up to the pulpit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Make sure I have it. Excuse me. As we are accustomed to doing at this time, we remember those members of the Millbrook School family, alumni, spouses, parents, grandparents, colleagues, past and present, and friends who have died, remembered in chronological order, according to the date of their passing, beginning with January 2024 and ending with May 2025. Edward J. Reynoso, Walter Crump, H. Bruce Rinker, James Louis Jordy, George Banta, Resolver Walden Williams, Gary Pornog, Peter Skoglund, Michael Johnson, William E. Steinwidow, Lisa Nash, Mark Lawrence O'Friel, Sam Andrew Mon-Malau, Robert C. Miller, Addison Berkey, Lucy Pulling Cutting, Charles M. Seward, Adam Mark Shapiro, Herbert Reynolds Spencer, Enos Moran, James Costin, Sherman Peel, Cara Berkhold Passaro, Ned Roumaniere, Colin John Mann, John Dempsey Jr., Robert M. Wood, Alan S. Hubbard, J. Stanley Pottinger, Nancy Keller Coffey, Peter Robinson, Gail Reed, David John Greenwood, Charles Ingersoll, Vernon L. Pack, Reuben F. Richards, Samuel Polk, David Haynes, Reverend Edward Anderson, Richard M. Schur, Michael J. Meehan II, and Douglas Moore. God of grace and glory, we remember this day these members of the Millbrook School family. We thank you for giving them to us to know and to love as companions on our earthly pilgrimage. Remind us of the lessons that they have taught us. We are grateful for their enduring love. May it alight on our hearts and souls and light our way. In your boundless compassion, console us who still mourn, and give us faith to see in death the gate of eternal life, so that in confidence we may continue our course on earth through your great love and through the power of your Spirit, until we are united with those who have gone before. Rest eternal grant to these members of our family, and light perpetual shine upon them. Amen.